Hey, if you're someone who absolutely loves English movies, but you feel like you're chained to the subtitles, then this is for you. We are going to break down the exact step-by-step plan to finally watch and understand movies without them. Let's get right into it.
Does this sound familiar? You sit down, you've got your popcorn, you're all excited for the movie to start. And then, just a few minutes in, you feel totally and completely lost. It is such a frustrating feeling, and trust me, pretty much every single English learner on the planet has been there.
So let's just get this straight, right here, right now. It has nothing to do with how good your English is. The problem isn't you. The problem is that you probably haven't been taught how to listen to the kind of English they speak in movies. And believe me, it's a whole different ballgame.
First off, I really want to drive this point home. This struggle is completely normal. To prove it, let's look at the stories of two different learners, we'll call them Jake and Sarah, who felt the exact same way you might be feeling right now.
So you've got Jake. He tried to watch the new Spider-Man movie, and boom, he was just hit by this wall of fast talking and slang he'd never heard before. And then there's Sarah. She was so excited to watch The Princess Diaries, but her heart just sank when she couldn't keep up with the quick, witty dialogue. They both felt totally defeated. But their stories definitely don't end there.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's pull back the curtain on why this is so dang hard. It's not about just listening harder. It's about training your ears to understand a completely new style of speaking.
So, you're probably wondering, why on earth does the English I learned in a classroom sound nothing like what I hear on Netflix? It's a fair question, and it can make you feel like you've been studying the wrong language this whole time. But don't worry, there's a really simple explanation.
It pretty much boils down to two main culprits. We're going to unpack both of them. The first one is something called connected speech, and the second is what I call the vocabulary trap. Let's break them down one by one.
First up, connected speech. You could think of this as the secret sauce of sounding like a native speaker. It's how we naturally mash words together to speak more smoothly and quickly. It's super efficient for us, but for a learner, it can just sound like one long, confusing word.
This is the perfect example right here. In your textbook, you learn, "What are you doing?" Nice and clear. But in a movie, an actor is going to say, "What you doing?" Or how about, "I have got to go." Nope. It becomes, "I gotta go." See the difference? Once you start listening for these patterns, it's a total game changer.
All right, the other major hurdle is this thing I call the vocabulary trap. And this isn't just about not knowing enough words. It's about what happens inside your brain the second you hear just one word you don't know. It sets off this crazy chain reaction. Okay, so you hear an unfamiliar word. Your brain immediately hits the pause button, right? It's trying to figure it out. But guess what? The movie doesn't pause with you. The conversation keeps going, and by the time you look up, they're 3 sentences ahead. And just like that, you're completely lost.
Okay, enough about the why. Let's get into the how. This section is all about action. This is your practical, step-by-step guide to start training your ears and finally building that confidence.
So, first, we need to change how we think about subtitles. They're not a crutch, they're training wheels. And there are 4 levels to work through. You might start at level 1 with English audio and subtitles in your own language. Then you move up to English subtitles. And eventually, you reach the final boss, level 4, no subs at all.
So take a second and look at this. Where are you right now? Be honest. There's no right or wrong answer here. Seriously. Everyone's got to start somewhere. The most important thing is just knowing your starting point so you can figure out your next step.
So, to help you climb that ladder from one level to the next, here is a super simple 5-step routine you can start doing, like today. This is how you stop just passively watching and start actively practicing.
This is basically the exact method Sarah used to finally have her breakthrough. First, start with something easy, maybe a cartoon or a movie you've seen a million times. Watch a tiny 2-minute scene with English subtitles. Then rewind and watch that exact same scene without them. Try repeating some of the lines out loud. It really helps. And jot down any common phrases you hear over and over. It's simple, but man, is it effective.
Okay, so this brings us to a huge question I get all the time. That's great, but what movie should I actually be watching? And you know what? The answer might really surprise you.
Everybody's looking for that magic list, right? The top 10 movies for English learners. Is it kids' movies? Slow-paced dramas? What's the secret formula?
Well, here's the secret. There is no secret list. The absolute #1 best movie for you to learn with is any movie that you are genuinely, truly excited to watch. And here's why that's not a cop-out answer. When you're actually invested in the story and you care about the characters, your brain is paying way more attention. It's more focused. You absorb things without even realizing it. If you're bored out of your mind, you're not going to learn a thing. So please, don't force yourself to watch a kid's cartoon if you really love action movies.
All right, so let's bring all this home. Let's talk about the mindset you absolutely have to make this work. This is your path forward.
I mean, you've heard this a million times, but it has never been more true. You wouldn't just sign up for a marathon and try to run it tomorrow with no training, right? It's the same thing here. You can't just jump into a complex movie with no subtitles and expect to understand everything. You gotta build up to it.
So, if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. Be patient with yourself. Progress happens in tiny, consistent steps. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to celebrate the small wins, like, hey, I understood one more line today than I did yesterday. And most importantly, try to have fun with it.
And that leaves us with one final, very important question to get you started on your way. Think of a movie you love, one you're actually excited about watching again. What is the first movie you're going to try with these new techniques? Your journey starts right now.